Over 1.5 million tourists have left. The $687 million gaming industry was wiped out in just one quarter. Even entertainment icons, which once generated trillions of dollars in cumulative revenue over decades, are no longer immortal. Saying the Las Vegas tourism industry is on the brink of collapse is no longer cheap clickbait. It's happening, and it's happening right now. As the economic heart of Vegas slows down, the surrounding neighborhoods also spiral into decline. From North Las Vegas to Whitney Ranch, residents witness scenes they previously thought could only appear in post-apocalyptic films. Closed shopping malls, abandoned apartments, and streets filled with homeless people's RVs. Las Vegas is experiencing a quiet but intense population hemorrhage, as millions of residents prepare to leave the city due to rising living costs, increasing crime, and an unstable job market following mass layoffs. Is the collapse of these neighborhoods a harbinger of a widespread urban crisis across America? In today's video, we'll explore 10 neighborhoods turning into ghost towns, why millions are leaving, and the potential consequences for Las Vegas and the entire United States in the near future. Paradise has long held a special connotation. Even the name evokes the image of a promised land, a desirable, dreamlike place in the heart of Nevada. And reality has reinforced that title for decades. Most of America's famous mega resorts are concentrated here. Although many people still think the Las Vegas Strip is located in the center of Las Vegas, in reality, about 95% of the entire Strip is actually within the boundaries of Paradise. The most popular tourist attractions, such as New York, Bellagio, the Venetian and the Palazzo, and Paris Las Vegas, are all located in this area. That unique location is what made Paradise the first place to be affected when the tourism industry began to collapse. The cracks in this paradise are clearly revealed by the instability of large corporations. Caesars was removed from the S&P 500 due to its $12.3 billion debt burden. The Sphere reported a loss of $98.4 million in its first quarter of operation, costing approximately $400,000 per day to maintain operations. Or take MGM, which cut over 800 middle managers in less than a week. These signals occurred in parallel with more empty hotel rooms, deserted casino floors, and many shows having to cut performances, all happening right at Paradise. These are the first layers of consequences in the face of the decline in visitors. According to the latest report, the number of visitors to Las Vegas in 2025 is down 11.3% compared to the same period last year, equivalent to approximately 400,000 people who cancelled their trips to Vegas and chose to stay home or go somewhere else that offered better value. 400,000 tourists disappeared, resulting in 400,000 unfilled room nights and a minimum of $240 million in tourism revenue evaporating under the 45-degree heat of the desert. With a dense hotel casino workforce, any fluctuations in guest volume or gaming revenue are immediately reflected in the statistics. They quickly turn into reduced hours, layoffs, or non-renewal of contracts. A series of direct labor employees at Strip icons lost their jobs in these rounds of layoffs. The gaming industry, which is Paradise's flagship sector, is also seeing a sharp downsizing trend. Some articles note that several casinos on the Strip have begun laying off dealers and service staff due to decreased customer volume and increased automation. Meanwhile, the standard of living in Paradise is no longer tied to service industry income. Data shows that in 2023, the average home in Paradise cost about $378,300, and the gross rent was about $1,401 a month. This forced many families working on the Strip to move further away, to lower cost areas, or leave the state altogether. Those who cannot move face a more difficult choice: living in their cars, in parking lots, or joining the ranks of the working homeless. This reality makes Paradise a clear demonstration. Neon lights can hide the darkness, but they cannot fill the void of a collapsing economy. When this entertainment paradise loses its rhythm, is there any other area of the city capable of ensuring stability? And if the strongest center has faltered, what will the peripheries face next? For those who witnessed Vegas in its heyday, downtown is more than just a location. It's a deep-seated memory of an old Vegas that was accessible, friendly, and livable. Before the Strip became a global icon, downtown was the birthplace of affordable Vegas experiences where every dollar spent, whether little or a lot, felt worthwhile. A dollar cocktail, a $1.99 buffet, or blackjack tables with minimum bets of just $1-2 created the unique identity of Fremont Street throughout the 1960s, 1980s. Back then, super cheap buffets were considered a specialty. Customers ate cheaply so they could gamble big in the casinos, and that very model sustained the entire area. But when inflation, gas prices, and the cost of living rise, this group of customers is the first to cut back on travel. Foot traffic on Fremont Street has decreased significantly, creating a void that no amount of extravagance can fill. The decline of downtown is even more evident as many long-standing hotels and casinos like the Golden Nugget and Four Queens are unable to invest in upgrades. In an era of technology-driven entertainment, images, and multi-sensory experiences, older establishments are becoming out of sync and less appealing to increasingly demanding visitors. Meanwhile, the cheap Vegas model has been wiped out by the costs of modern travel. Resort fees of up to $65, parking fees of $35 per hour, and 2 burgers costing $60. The attempt to turn Las Vegas into a US version of Dubai has made it feel less relevant to a large segment of budget travelers. These prices are like an overinflated balloon, and when that pressure exceeds the limit, the downtown economy is the first to feel the explosion. Small businesses like bars, clubs, and souvenir shops, which rely on foot traffic, are under immense pressure. Customer numbers are down, but rent remains the same, forcing many establishments to close or operate at a reduced capacity. The weakening of downtown at the same time as the Strip further unsettles the community. The two most important poles of Las Vegas were shaken during the same period, making residents feel like they were living in a cycle of decline with an increasingly narrow escape. And as the prospect of recovery fades, many people have no choice but to leave the city. No longer the vibrant heart of old Vegas, downtown is now just shadows of the past, and a sign that the city's decline is closer than ever. Winchester has long been considered an important buffer zone between the Strip and the vast residential areas east of Las Vegas. This is home to the essential workforce for the entertainment industry: housekeeping staff, bartenders, maintenance personnel, shuttle drivers, and other ancillary services. When the Strip is operating smoothly, Winchester is stable. As the Strip accelerated, Winchester benefited as well. But as the Strip slows down and tourists shorten their stays, this is the very area that feels the first and most pronounced impact. The income of Winchester residents is decreasing weekly, while the cost of living, rent, food, fuel is increasing faster than any adjustments they can make. Nevada is currently among the states with the highest unemployment rates in the country, and Winchester is a place that directly reflects this. A series of working-class households have had their hours cut, lost their jobs, or been forced to switch from full-time to part-time work on a short-term schedule. Mid-range apartments that were fully occupied year-round are now experiencing long-term vacancies. Landlords must lower rents or accept vacancies, which was rare before the period of volatility. No less difficult, convenience stores, late-night eateries, and small businesses around the area also lost customers who used to come from the late shifts of Strip employees and budget tourist groups. Revenue is down, opening hours are reduced, and many stores are operating on a limited basis or have closed altogether. Winchester found itself in a strange predicament. It wasn't upscale enough to attract higher income residents, but it also wasn't cheap enough to attract the influx of new workers. This in-between position makes the area a distinct economic depression in the Las Vegas Valley. As the economic foundation around the Strip weakened, Winchester became the clearest reflection of the risks of putting all your faith in the tourism industry. And when even those who operate this entertainment machine can't maintain a basic living, questions about the future of the entire region become unavoidable. The Arts District was once seen as a strategic move to help Las Vegas break free from its traditional dependence on casinos. This is where the city wants to build a new identity: art, culture, creativity, and community. However, it is precisely these differences that make the region vulnerable. Artistic activity is heavily dependent on discretionary spending, on the amounts of money that residents and visitors are only willing to spend when they feel life is stable enough. When the economy declines, when tourists shorten their stays, and when people have to prioritize essential spending, areas like the Arts District are often the first to be sacrificed. The gallery and studio don't have enough customers to host an event. The coffee shop and brewery lost their regular customers, who were creatives and adventurous travelers. Revenue is not enough to cover costs, forcing many establishments to close or downsize. Artists and creatives, a group known for their mobility, began leaving Las Vegas in search of cheaper cities with more stable cultural ecosystems. When they leave, the Arts District loses its soul. An entire area that was once bustling has become sparse. Empty storefronts, faded graffiti walls, community events that dwindled and disappeared. The Arts District became a clear demonstration of the limitations of Las Vegas's economic diversification efforts. The city wants to revitalize its identity, but when the main economy is in crisis, these young cultural shoots don't have enough foundation to survive. And the decline of this area shows that the crisis has not only reached people's wallets, but has also deeply penetrated the cultural layer, which is considered the soul of a city. East Las Vegas has always been considered the backstage of the tourist city. If the Strip is where the light is concentrated, then this area is where the people who keep that light shining operate. Housekeeping, kitchen, service, line cooks, dishwashers, night shift staff. This is the lowest income labor group in the entire Vegas ecosystem, and also the group with no financial cushion to withstand any shocks from the tourism industry. As tips decreased and working hours were cut, their already limited income plummeted faster than in any other sector. In just a few months, many families could no longer afford to pay rent. They were forced to find solutions to survive, splitting apartments for multiple families to live together, moving to old RVs on the outskirts, or living in unsafe temporary shelters. A common characteristic of most residents here is the lack of long-term leases. Just a small event, a broken car, a minor illness, a week of reduced hours, is enough for them to lose their housing. Rising living costs are further squeezing East Las Vegas. The continuous increase in food, gasoline, and utility prices means that after-tax income is no longer sufficient for any savings. When people have to put all their income into basic necessities, purchasing power in the area plummets. This triggered a domino effect. Small grocery stores saw a decrease in customers. Family restaurants were empty, and local services operated at a standstill. A residential area that relied on the constant turnover of cheap labor began to stagnate, losing its inherent rhythm of life. East Las Vegas is not just a place that shows the impact of the tourism downturn. It is a place that shows the limits of a city dependent on the service sector. And if the pressure continues, this could be the first area that forces Las Vegas to face a difficult question: how to protect the people who are keeping the entire economic machine running. Spring Valley was once a reliable stronghold for Las Vegas's middle class. This is where families working in the hospitality, service, technical, and retail industries choose to settle. Affordable housing, stable schools, peaceful neighborhoods, and a distance from the noise of the Strip. For many years, Spring Valley represented a rare normality in Las Vegas, a place where residents could build long-term plans without being swept up in the city's 24/7 tourist lifestyle. But that stability began to waver when mortgage rates rose sharply after 2022. For households using adjustable-rate mortgages, ARMs, monthly payments increased so rapidly that many people could no longer afford them. While incomes haven't kept pace, the costs of home, insurance, utilities, and property taxes have also escalated, placing a particularly heavy burden on older residents and families with fixed incomes. These expenses were once considered predictable, but have now become an uncontrollable variable. The Spring Valley real estate market clearly reflects this fluctuation. The number of homes for sale has increased significantly. Partly this stems from people wanting to leave, and partly from the market slowing down, causing properties to stay on the market longer. For many families, selling their homes and moving to Arizona, Utah, or Idaho, where the cost of living is lower, has become a practical decision rather than a choice. If even the middle class, once the backbone of Vegas, is starting to leave the city, what does that say about the direction of Las Vegas in the next decade? If you drive through Enterprise at dusk, you'll see a strange sight. Newly paved streets, evenly lit streetlights, trees planted in rows, all bearing the hallmarks of a city opening up to the future. But as you get closer, you'll realize what's missing: the light in the window. Many newly built houses are still silent, with no cars in the garages, no children's voices, and no family activities. Enterprise is like a complete stage, but lacks actors. Just a few years ago, from 2018 to 2022, this area was the new pride of Las Vegas. The population is growing rapidly. Housing projects are constantly springing up, attracting young residents, remote workers, and families looking to escape the city's congestion. Enterprise is likened to an emerging area, a symbol of a modern, expanding, and opportunity-filled Las Vegas. But that boom quickly revealed its limitations. When house prices were pushed up too quickly and the market peaked, Enterprise became one of the most clearly affected areas when interest rates rose after 2022. By 2024-2025, as the influx of people into Las Vegas slows down, the housing bubble will begin to deflate. Many newly built housing complexes lack buyers, becoming a symbol of this slowdown, a clear demonstration that the pace of growth does not always equate to a sustainable foundation. Most Enterprise residents work in service office industries or support jobs not directly related to casinos, but still depend on the overall strength of the Vegas economy. When the economy slows down, some people lose their jobs or are no longer able to pay their mortgages, forcing them to leave. And as residents leave, the services in the area, the small shopping center, convenience stores, gyms, also lose customers, leading to a decline in urban vitality. Enterprise exposes the fragility of expectation-driven growth. Just a few fluctuations in tourism, house prices, and interest rates, and the entire region immediately cools down. The short-term change in quality of life transformed Enterprise into a $1 million neighborhood with an empty soul. The clearest reflection of Las Vegas's instability in the post-boom era. If there's one place that best shows what's happening outside the Vegas lights, it's Sunrise Manor. From above, this area looks like a fragile border between the city and the desert. Old apartment buildings interspersed with empty lots, and in the distance, a long line of RVs stacked together like a temporary residential area. Most of the residents here do jobs that few people see but everyone needs. Cleaning rooms, serving, maintenance, low-paying office work. They don't appear in Vegas advertising brochures, but they are the people who keep the city's service wheels turning smoothly. However, their income, which is dependent on tips and has fluctuating hours, makes them the first group unable to keep up with rising rent and utility costs, which have steadily increased over the years. When you can no longer afford to maintain an apartment, the next option isn't find another one, but rather to leave the traditional housing system. Many families moved into RV parks or utilized temporary parking areas on the outskirts of the desert, creating small RV towns, places not designed for stable living, but which became the final refuge for hundreds of people. This forced relocation has clear social consequences. Children have to change schools constantly, and adults find it difficult to keep their jobs because they don't have a permanent address. How can a city function if even those who maintain it, who run every day, no longer have a place to live? And if RV living becomes a popular living option for the working poor, is Sunrise Manor foreshadowing the future of other working-class areas in Las Vegas? North Las Vegas is a mixed economy, relying on logistics, warehousing, local services, and indirectly on the tourism industry. As travel slows down, the ripple effect impacts seemingly separate links. Many logistics facilities have reduced shifts or scaled back operations, causing the workforce, which already had stable but not high incomes, to feel the pressure acutely. They didn't lose their jobs immediately, but their working hours decreased, their income gradually declined, and the cost of living continued to rise. In low to middle income families, even a small change like this is enough to disrupt the already fragile balance. Alongside financial difficulties, the region also faces a slight increase in crime rates since 2023. Not shocking numbers, but enough to change the community's sense of security. When people start talking more about security cameras than about their neighbors, you know the social structure has been disrupted. For many families, the rational choice is to move to safer suburbs or another state, leading to a form of quiet but continuous migration. The departure of those with means creates a domino effect. Buildings are poorly maintained, services decline in quality, and small shops close or change ownership frequently due to insufficient customers. North Las Vegas began to fall into a state of hollowing out, neighborhoods that no longer had enough residents to maintain a vibrant life, but weren't bad enough to warrant immediate intervention. This makes North Las Vegas a clear example of how an unbalanced economy can create deep community divisions. As people left in small groups but didn't stop, the area gradually transformed from a stable living space into a hollowed-out region difficult to recover. If the Strip is the embodiment of opulent Vegas, then Boulder Highway was once the silent artery that nourished the rest of the city. For decades, this corridor was Vegas for everyone. Cheap motels lit up all night, small casinos with the steady hum of slot machines, late-night diners serving truckers, budget travelers, and evening shift workers. But as the tourism model shifted to less but more expensive, the low-budget group of tourists, which was the region's main source of livelihood, almost disappeared. That triggered a domino effect. Many old motels, which already operated on very thin profit margins, are no longer able to maintain or upgrade. When the doors closed and the lights went out, they left behind silent rows of buildings, making this corridor look like a sparsely populated town rather than a once bustling thoroughfare. Small casinos and local gaming rooms, which are familiar gathering spots, have seen a continuous decline in customer numbers. Some had to cut back on opening hours, while others operated at a reduced capacity because they couldn't afford the increased operating costs. At the same time, Boulder Highway is facing a wave of RV living. The city's edge location turns vacant lots near the corridor into temporary parking, leading to a chaotic mix of closed motels and informal RV parks. This gives the entire area a feeling of being stuck between two eras, a bustling past and an uncertain present, unsure of where it's headed. Boulder Highway became the clearest image of a double retreat. Tourists no longer came, and working residents couldn't stay. The once vibrant corridors now reveal long, empty stretches. Interspersed with a few remaining neon lights, that serve as a reminder of a time when Las Vegas wasn't just for the wealthy. The 10 neighborhoods we just passed through are not just the story of Vegas. They are the stories of communities that once believed that with hard work, they would stand firm amidst the economic turmoil. They are the stories of American towns where the past and present begin to diverge by a step. And more importantly, they raise the question, if areas that were once the 24/7 backbone of a city are hollowed out, what awaits smaller, weaker places ahead? As the neon lights remain bright, but the voices of the residents become increasingly sparse, we are forced to ask ourselves, where is the line between a city that is changing and a city that is losing itself? And will Las Vegas, once built on the anything is possible dream, be able to rebuild as its operators leave in droves? If even neighborhoods born from a belief in the future are struggling to keep pace, what can we possibly leave for future generations? Please share your story in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue to bring you true stories from across America. The content in this video is based on public data, reputable reports, and synthesized analyses from various sources. The observations, descriptions, and perspectives presented are solely intended to provide a reference overview of the socio-economic changes occurring in the Las Vegas area. The video is not intended to criticize, assign blame, or make absolute claims about any organization, individual, or agency. The figures, if they fluctuate over time, will be understood as part of the natural process of change in the economy and local community.